Hey there, good afternoon or evening or morning or whatever it is, wherever you are. Thank you for tuning in today. You are watching a Path to Zion podcast video edition, Monday afternoon, live from, where are we?
Virginia.
But where are we, like, specifically?
In my room.
And this is who?
Noah.
Noah Daniel, my awesome son. I decided, and I just kind of invited him along, and he is a willing participant to do a video episode today. I had a bunch of other stuff planned, some things I've been writing for the last 2 weeks. Not going to happen today. Who's kind of sick in our house?
Mommy.
Yeah, my wife, Kristen. She's not feeling the best, so I'm carrying the load, aren't I?
Yep.
Daddy, podcaster, husband, cook, dishwasher, all of these things. So that's just going to have to wait. We'll put that on the shelf for another time because that's going to take a good bit more time. Basically today, as I do want to say before we get too much farther, go to pathtozion.com. If you don't listen to the audio podcast, you can do that anytime, 24/7. We have, I forget how many episodes are on there. I saw them the other day. You don't know, do you?
What?
You haven't counted the episodes of the podcast? No? Hundreds. We've been doing it for about 16, 17 months now. And so there's probably something there you have not listened to yet before. We've got a few other videos here on YouTube. And this one today is going to be purposely lighthearted. And I'm going to give a little bit of a background. And then Noah and I are going to walk you through a little bit of lighthearted teaching today, right? Is that the plan?
I guess.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's cool. Am I spoiling your plans? You got bigger plans today that I'm spoiling? Did you have something planned today?
No.
Oh, okay, good. So, basically this culminated this morning, or actually early afternoon. Rainy day today here. And I was out in our garden behind our house. We have a pretty large garden, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty good size. Manageable, but large. And I was back there this morning. What have we been cutting up? And getting ready. Uh-huh.
And pickles, cucumbers, and zucchini.
Tons of zucchini. We're trying to get all that stuff processed in the freezer somewhere where it can last until we need it. This will be winter? Spring? I don't know. We're thinking this year we might need to keep some stuff and put it to the side. There's somebody saying, "Hey, Noah." Hello, Malachi. How you doing? He's watching on the video.
I saw that.
How cool is that? Well, if you see something, let me know because I'm not paying any attention. So, basically, I was out there. I was picking some more cucumbers and decided I needed to pick beans. If you have very many beans, you know it takes a little bit of time. It takes a lot of time, doesn't it, to pick each one off?
Yeah.
And so, as I was doing that, as is often the case when we're outside working anywhere on the farm here, I just really feel God speaking to me through the process of whatever it is we're doing here in our life. We have taken a road, a path, if you will, that lives disconnected. We live out in the country. We chose to leave the city 4+ years ago, and we have never been more thankful that we did that. And so we have a garden, some cows. How many chickens y'all have?
25.
25 chickens. You need any? And so, we value the outdoors. We're outside all the time. If it's nice and it's summer, we're outside, aren't we? Noah kind of likes it that way. Oh, there's Mr. David. We got people all over Georgia listening. Probably don't want to do that on the live show. So we'll move past that there, and we'll get to what we're going to talk about today. And what is it we're going to talk about? What's it called?
Spiritual principles within gardening.
spiritual principles within gardening. Yeah, this is a little bit of a change for this program, isn't it? I'm thinking, do you want to talk like real deep? You want to talk about like Nephilim and the condition of humanity with the mixed race people at the flood?
What's that?
Yeah, okay. No, we won't go there today. So spiritual principles within gardening. We're just going to talk, have a little bit of fun today. We believe in our life that what we do, everything matters. Everything. It's kind of hard for an almost 9-year-old, isn't it? It's kind of a challenge, kind of hard. But with that being said, we believe our lives are always full of opportunities. Everything we do, when we're in the garden, when we're driving around on our Kawasaki Mule, when we're walking around talking about the sunset, we believe all these things help position us to be mature spiritual men and children. And so we're just going to talk about a few things, points of these spiritual principles within gardening, because you know what? Just be careful that you don't think, this stuff probably doesn't matter. They're just going to talk about silliness. Just give us a chance. We might get something real deep. Maybe Noah will share something like revelational today. You think?
No.
No? Okay. So the very first point, we just made a few points of discussion today. What's the very first thing that we do to start the garden?
We work the ground.
Work the ground. This year specifically, you can put it down. We want to see your face. We worked the ground late. We had an incredibly wet late winter. And we keep our cows in a certain section back here behind the house, and we kind of keep them closed off right back there. And this year specifically, was it muddy or what? You walk through in your work boots and you can't hardly keep them on your feet. You remember? Was there any grass? No, nothing. What was it? Mud, slop, and other things we won't mention. Cows live there, you know. It was not very pleasant. But as spring started to come, it started to dry out. Finally, it took forever, didn't it? So what did I do to work the ground?
You use the tractor.
Okay.
Put the plow on the tractor and plow and turn the soil.
Yep, turn the soil over. Now, there are some things in the Bible that talks about breaking up fallow ground. At the fellowship we attend, one of the pastors spoke on this, I hate to say it, months ago. I wasn't there that week. I don't think you were either. I don't know where we were. We've not missed much. Whatever the case, he was talking from what I heard about this incredible message.
We went camping.
Me and Noah went camping that weekend. That's right. See, you remember. And I've heard, you've got to hear this message talking about breaking up the fallow ground. Well, the only thing I really know to add to whatever he said, which I don't even know yet, it's probably way more awesome because it's Mr. Tom. Because Mr. Tom teaches Noah how to play that guitar back there. Maybe we can get him to pull it out later and sing us a little song. Probably not. But when you break up fallow ground, you take ground that has been in the darkness, buried beneath, and you turn it and you expose it. You reveal what's underneath there. In our case, good soil, but just kind of yuck. It needs turned. It needs worked. It needs exposed and revealed. That's a biblical principle. We won't go into all these things to too much length. But this year specifically, it took a lot of work to get the ground ready, to break up the ground, to let it dry, to let it set, and then you go through, and of course, if you know anything about gardening, farming, you break it up again, and from larger to smaller to smaller to smaller, then you're ready to go, right? And so what's the second part of gardening that we had to do this year, and you do every year?
You plant the seed.
You plant the seed. Now, plant the seed. We could spend all day on plant the seed in a spiritual perspective. From a spiritual vantage point, we could talk about planting the seed all day long if we're talking about spiritual principles. Well, why is that? Because the thing that's fascinating about seeds, and I'm no professional farmer or gardener, either one, that's for sure, but what's really cool about the seed is the fascinating... Do you have any seeds in here? That would be awesome if you've got one. He's going to look for a seed. He's got a little bit of everything laying around in here. It's very possible he has a seed laying around. If not, it's fine. Just come sit back down. But the cool thing about a seed that's quite fascinating, the way that Yahweh designed it, is that everything that's necessary for that seed to begin its life is just housed within it. It's the components of life are dormant within the seed, ready for the conditions. What is it?
You want me to go get it? What?
Sure. As long as it's real quick.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to me to think about spiritual principles within the seed and the power of the seed, because the thing about the seed does its part. The seed is the seed, as simple as that sounds. All the components for life, as I've already said, are within that seed, waiting for conditions to be right. And so as we talk about spiritual principles within the way Yahweh ordained life itself to exist, from plants to animals to human beings, we're talking about a seed. Did you get one?
Mm-hmm.
All right, what do you got?
Got a corn seed.
All right, a little corn kernel. This is from some of his ornamental corn. You just planted some the other day, right? Mm-hmm. We're going to have that maybe for late fall. And like, what other seed did we plant? What did me and you, and Mama help too, but one day for sure, just you and me, what did we plant in the front pasture here?
Corn.
How much?
Thousands.
By hand. Tons of corn. All right, so we put that seed in the ground, bare ground. Now, every other year we've lived here, that pasture is full of grass, right? Mm-hmm. So we plowed it. We did point number one. We worked the ground, pulled out what? Rocks after rock after rock. Weeds, grass chunks, huge rocks, little rocks. Rocks everywhere. Mm-hmm. Working the ground. And then we took the seeds, and what did we do?
Planted them.
Oh, man. Put them in. What, 8 inches? There's another one. There's another one. It took forever, right? Mm-hmm. But what about now? We can't show them, but what about now?
It's taller than you.
8-foot tall corn, right? Almost all of them. There's some that are a little bit stubby.
They're like 2 feet tall.
Some 2-footers, yes. But most of them, yeah, taller than us, fully growing to the point where they got 2 ears apiece on the stalks. Stalks are huge. Why? The seed did its part. But here's the most important thing, right? Seed can lay dormant for years, but when it's placed into the right conditions, it does what it was created to do. I love to think about, and I'm no scientist, right? No biologist, no horticulturalist. You even know what that is?
What is it?
I'm no plant specialty guy. But when I look at the grass of the field, when I look at the trees, I think it's fascinating to think about how all of these things in life are descendants of what followed. This grass is somehow part of the same grass that Yahweh God spoke unto the earth to grow. He spoke and life came. And he made life to regenerate and recreate life. It's the pattern of God. The power of the seed is incredible. I think I've got an audio podcast about the power of the seed, maybe 2 or 3, somewhere in the archives. You can look for that should you actually want to. Because when we're talking about spiritual things, it's very important for us to realize the power of the seed. And again, just to take this point a little bit further, because I have to, like, if the seed of Yahweh God via Yeshua Jesus the Messiah is within this vessel, this seed is created to what? Perpetuate the seed, the lineage, the go forth and multiply command that Yahweh God gave humanity was for a reason. Why? To continue to multiply the kingdom, the multiplicity of the glory of God in human beings, multiplication. So the seed is awesome. I'm going to have to turn off the seed and we'll go to the next one because I'll talk all day about seed. Seeming that way, isn't it? Okay, so what's the very next thing?
Wait and watch.
Wait and watch. Oh, man. Now, is this one hard, waiting and watching, or are you fine because you can just play and all that stuff? You can put that down.
I'm fine.
What do you think about the waiting and the watching part? Is it hard or is it easy to wait and watch?
I think it's probably both.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard because you're wondering if you're like us and you're not professional gardeners. Oh my goodness, I hope it grows, right? I hope something comes from all of this work. I hope something grows up out of the ground. Well, it usually does. Not all the time though, but most of the time. Sometimes rabbits come. What do?
Eat it.
Have lunch. We put up 8-foot deer fencing this year. That has worked. Last year, deer ate all of our beans. This year, we've done good. And so there's a season of waiting and watching. What? In faith, in expectancy. Again, we're talking spiritual principles. We're anticipating something to happen. We're anticipating that seed and all of the conditions that we place that seed within to do its job, to bring about new life that springs up out of the ground as we watch, as we wait. Okay? And we forgot to make a sign for this one, so can you just read it?
Flowers come, evidence of what is coming.
Okay? Flowers show up. We got tons of stuff right now that's already producing, but we have some things that are in the flowering stage. Right? What's going on? Just a few things going on the flowers.
Bees.
Bees, butterflies.
Yeah.
The pollination of the plant is taking place. And the cool thing is when you see a flower, again, spiritual principles, we're going to keep repeating this over and over and over. There's evidence of something going on in our spiritual lives, in our hearts, in our own personal lives. There should be evidence of what? Life. There's something going on. The seed, I have received the seed. I have received the seed of the Messiah. I'm now in the second Adam, last Adam lineage of Yeshua Messiah, Jesus the King. And now I'm starting to see some evidence of that in my life, right? As we journey on in our progression of spiritual man life, losing our life for the sake of Jesus, so that in order for us to find it, it's a ongoing process, and there begins to be, boop. Have you ever had anything in your life where it's like you've struggled with it, or you've wrestled with it, or you can't lay it down, or you can't pick it up, and all of a sudden, metaphorically speaking, there's a flower that comes and it's like, something's coming. Not yet. Something's coming. He's excited about it because he wants to hold up the next page. It's not even time yet. Something is coming in anticipation, right? I can see the flower and I know something comes after the flower comes. Now be still, buddy. Okay? All right, so next, is this your favorite one? Your
Yes.
favorite part of the whole gardening process? Does anybody guess what it is? Okay, what is it?
Harvest.
Harvest. Oh, man. All right, there's stuff that is growing. There's stuff that is ready to be picked. Whether it's ginormous zucchini that you didn't see and like, oh no, it's 3 feet long. There's stuff, the whole process that you've been laboring unto is beginning to give you a harvest. It's beginning to bring something to you that's of benefit to you. The purpose of all the stuff you've done is becoming evident. It's coming to pass, right? The whole purpose is to get stuff. Would we want to do a garden if all we did was dig the dirt, plant the seed, watch and wait, and see the flowers? Now, the flowers would be good, but not as good as the stuff we get to eat, right?
Yeah.
So that's the whole point, is you want a harvest so that you have something to get. Couple things about harvesting, reaping. I was doing a study on that a couple days ago. We're not going to go there today, but there's so much significance within this. I won't get there for your sake. You're like, oh, no. You're being very patient. Number one, I did want to make a note of this. We did this for the first time this year, and it's very spiritually significant in our house. As we are a household giving ourselves to the feasts, to the Moedim of God, the marked Moed of the times, the appointed times when God says, I'm coming to meet with you right here, right now. One of the things we've been doing in that, giving ourselves to the practicing, if you will, of the feasts of the Lord, is first fruits, learning and practicing the principle of first fruits. All right, here's a question. What's your favorite vegetable to harvest?
I like tomatoes.
Tomatoes, because you like to eat them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't much like tomatoes. I like the way they smell. So we've had to do a little bit of editing. We've had more technical difficulties. I'm telling you, if anybody wants to send us anything to help us with these podcasts, would it help my patience?
I think so.
Yeah. So anyway, we just got in asking Noah what his favorite vegetable is.
Tomatoes.
Tomatoes. Big ones, little ones.
Big one.
All of them.
Yeah.
I don't much like tomatoes. Maybe we'll see something we didn't quite see just from up here. I'm telling you, from gardening, if you're just looking up here, Dad, there's nothing under there. There's nothing under those leaves of zucchini. And I'll take the time to look, and sometimes it's him looking. There's a whole bunch, but man, it's just hidden. It's just a little bit hidden, friends. It's the same in the spiritual. Spiritual principles within natural gardening life. Simple, yet true. Those of us in Messiah have been given a seed. When that command went forth to go forth and multiply what? The glory of the Lord in vessels of humanity, carrying on the seed of the Father in the bloodline lineage now of last Adam, Yeshua, Jesus, the multiplicity of the glory of God in flesh and blood bodies. It's a beautiful privilege. Eternal seed. Noah's wanting to play a song, so while I'm wrapping up here, he's going to start playing. Thank you for listening. Just remember the ground is of utmost importance. What is the posture of your own heart? What is the condition of the soil of your heart? And are you looking, ready for the harvest? Looking, scouring humanity. Who is ready for the harvest? Thank you for watching. This has been the Spiritual Principles Within Gardening. Go to pathtozion.com to look at hundreds of audio episodes, and just stay close here. We'll have some more stuff coming soon. Send us an email, pathtoZionPodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for watching. Here's Noah Daniel. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, and I just wrote that song today.
Do you want to play something from here? Just real
did.
quick? No, from something else? You want to play something just for a minute?
Sure.
Okay. Making your recording debut. Play one of those songs you and Mr. Tom play. Okay. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Be blessed.